Today, I'm going to be changing up one of my supplemental reading journals. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you back to my channel. And yes, today we are going to be playing around in a reading journal, but a supplemental reading journal, not my main reading journal. My main reading journal, I'm still plugging along and plugging away at that, but I do have a few supplemental reading journals. For instance, I have this one here. It's a blackout journal. This is my Aurelium Academy reading journal. Let me show you kind of how I've been doing this. So like I have a sections for adventures and Aldea, and then this is kind of how I've been tracking that throughout the year. Then I have a section for Aurelium Academy, and this is kind of how I've been tracking this. I'm still working on this. I plan on hopefully finishing some of these pages up in the near future, and then I can do a full-on flip through. But I do like to have certain or separate journals for certain things, even though it's reading related, because you can see I've already used up a decent amount of pages in this one, and it's just for one reading challenge. But it does happen every year, and you build characters and stuff like that. Another reading journal that I created last year was my series reviews. And the reason why I wanted a separate series review reading tracker is because I tried to put it in my reading journal last year as part of my regular 2024 reading journal. But then I realized some of these series, especially the fantasy series, go on and on and on. And a lot of times when I start reading them, they're not quite finished. So it might be 2 or 3 years that I'm reading an entire series for. So it's like, well, which one do I put it in? Do I put it in the reading journal that I've read 4 and I'm waiting on the last one? Yeah, that's happening right now for one particular series. But just how does that work? So I decided to do it separately, and I put it in this A5 journal. However, I don't like it. First of all, I need to really catch up on it. I haven't done any for the ones that I've read this year, or at least since the beginning of this year, because I think maybe the first few months I did a few spreads, but that's it. I haven't really done much else. I think like this one, I've done this one and I've done this one, but I definitely want to change my setup a little bit too. So I am going to redo it. It's fine. I have the time, and I have this journal, which is bigger, nicer, and I think it's going to be a little bit more fun. Plus, I'm not sure of how long this one's going to hold up, because I have a B5 in the same exact journal, and the binding is not super I'm not talking about the pages. The pages are fine, but this ended up ripping on my B5. So I had to cover it with contact paper, which it turned out really great. But I don't want to do that for something that I'm going to be using for years upon years. So let's just switch it up before I get too far along. Plus, I've learned some things about how I want to do some things. So this is the Archer and Olive 8x8 bookshelf journal that just released for the fall collection. I do believe it's sold out. There still may be pre-orders, but I'm not 100% sure. I am an affiliate for Archer and Olive, so you can use my discount code AGWP to save yourself 10%. Now, I don't know how much setup I'm gonna do with this today. This is so pretty. I think I'm gonna leave this as is. I did print this out on my computer because I was like, I could put this here across from that. But I think I would kind of like this as my title page. The other thing I might do in this journal is I might cut out some of the pages within each signature. Someone mentioned that to me when I was doing my journal brainstorm. And I think I may be able to do that in this particular journal. Cutting out like the top page in each of the signature sections where the threading is. You can see there's like multiple signatures in it. It's probably like 10 or so signatures, 8 to 10. We'll just open up the journal a little bit so you can add more stuff. And I really want to add some ephemera and fun things like that. You can see I already have some stuff for one of the series I want to do. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do that, but I'm mainly going to probably focus on the center for that. But like this one, I was thinking I could do a title page here and then kind of tear this a little bit and then have the title over here. I think I'm liking that. But then at the same time, I have this, which is thick cardstock scrapbook paper. Not my favorite, but I still like it. I have, this came out of like a dark academia pack I got from Michael's a while back. This one I am going to cut some of the cards out, so I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use it for something else. I have this one, and then I have this one. So what I was thinking, this is gorgeous, but the books are just way too big. I feel like that might be problematic on there, because if I cut it, it would literally make the books like cut right there. I was thinking like I could layer these. So it's going to make it thick. I know, but I'm not going to do this. I'm just doing it for like the main thing. So like I could put this here, rip it, and then rip this and put this over top of it. I kind of like the way that looks. I still like this. So I'm going to hang on to this. I like that. I really like this. All right, guys, so I'm going to speed up this video, let you watch it, and I will kind of go over my thought process and point out some mishaps that I made along the way. So, yes, basically, when I was putting together these two scrapbook pages, I didn't want them to overlap so much because I didn't want it to be super thick. So I did try to thin out where the ripped edge was on that cream colored piece, so that way anything that went under it, it still wouldn't make it that thick. I will tell you, I messed up when I cut. You know how they say like measure twice, cut once? Yeah, I really should have done that. The measurement was fine, but I cut the wrong end. So in this paper pad, there was like a little hole at the top so it could hang on a shelf or like a rod in the store. Yeah, the way I cut it, now you're gonna have that little circle hole showing through in the paper. Yes, you know, I have to like make a mistake at some point during my setups, and I make several during this one, but you know, that's how it goes. And sometimes the best parts is you end up making things better trying to correct your mistakes, because you will see, you can see a little hole. At first I was going to put like a piece of scrapbook paper under it, and then I started looking at the scrapbook paper of the books shelves. And I was like, what if I cut out some of these books and just line them at the bottom? It would kind of add a little something extra to, I mean, I know the print itself is pretty, but it still adds a little something. And then it carries some of the books over to this page as well. And y'all, I loved it. I absolutely love it. I think it's super pretty. Again, a mistake actually brought about a better end product. So don't always get upset when you make a mistake. Just like maybe even walk away and come back like days later and then worry about it then, because you might find a solution, and that solution might make it look so much better than even it would have if you didn't make the mistake. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to add the title right now. I do that later off camera, but I will show you a full flip through at the end of this video just so you can see the final products and everything like that. So now to the next pages. I was kind of going back and forth about what I wanted to do next. If I wanted to go ahead and start my log of series or what. And I was like, nope, let's not do that. So I am going to add a pocket, and I have this envelope, this little nifty envelope that I think I may have gotten from Korea Crafts. I'm not 100% sure, but that's where a lot of my stuff came from. So I'm like, let's just use this envelope. I don't write letters. I'm never going to use it for anything else. Let's use it and stick it on the page so I don't have to make a pocket. And then I cut up one of these scrapbook papers that I got from that same paper pad that I made the intro pages with. They were like journaling cards. You can use it as a single piece of scrapbook paper because it looked cool by itself, but you could cut it up into the journaling cards too. And that's what I did. And what I'm going to put on those cards, the two that I cut out at least, is I'm going to list all of those series that I finished way back in the day, or at least the ones that I can remember from way back in the day. So I'm talking about the Harry Potters, the Divergent, Hunger Games, Vampire Academy, the Sookie Stackhouse series, which is what it was called before they renamed it to True Blood based on the TV show. But yeah, you know, that's all what I read back in my college days. So I'm going to like write those down on the card because I wanted to capture them somewhere, because I did read a decent amount of series back in like my early 20s. So I wanted to put them somewhere, but obviously I didn't want to list them out with all of the other things that I'm going to have all these fun stats about. But, I have to add stickers. I have to make it look cute. So basically my inspiration for the stickers that I used was the envelope. It had this like romantic feel. So I'm like, it kind of felt like it needed florals. I mean, I know that's an easy way to go too, but it just felt like it needed florals. Along with some script washi, which you'll see it momentarily. But these florals I got from a Happy Planner mega sticker book, one that is probably more than 5 years old. I haven't had it that long, but I probably had it for 3 years, but it was old when I purchased it. But it kind of had like a vintage, realistic looking flowers. And I'm like, let's just go with that. By the way, I don't think I've mentioned there is no theme to any of these intro pages. So when I do my reading journal, I do a theme because there's so many intro pages that I can like choose a theme and then run with that theme for like 14 spreads. There's just going to be like 3 or 4 spreads. That's it. And a lot of it is going to be like text heavy because I'm tracking things. So I'm just like, we're just going to go with how I'm feeling. That's what we're going to roll with. And like for this, it was the use of frame stickers from Wrong's Junk Journaling sticker book, along with these florals that I got from Happy Planner. And that's just how I end up going. And I like the way it looks. Like I said, it is kind of awkward for me to do a reading journal setup, even if this is a supplemental journal without a theme. But like I said, I wasn't trying to do a theme. I was just trying to set it up today. Plus, I am going to go theme heavy based on each book that I do a review of. So yeah, I am going to like pretty much finish this up by throwing some more stickers on the page with the frames, just so it doesn't look so out balanced or so not balanced, I think is the right term, because there's a lot of stickers on the page with the envelope and I just don't put as many on the other one, but it's fine. Now, this is going to be where I'm going to put my table where I will be tracking all of the series. So you can also think of this as my index too, because all of the ones that I'm going to put in this table are going to be the ones I write reviews for. And I will say every series that I complete, I will put that here and I will likely write a review of, because if I spend time reading 3, 4, 5, 6 books, I want to write about it. And I want to write about my overall thoughts on that series as a whole. And my reading journal captures my thoughts on each individual book as a whole, but my thoughts on a series sometimes differs from my thoughts on each individual book. Yeah, I think I've gone over that before in some other videos, but that's the reason why I kind of like, this journal and having it separate anyway, because it is different. But yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to put here. You'll see at the end how I end up setting that up. And then what I'm going to do now is leave blank pages because I am ready to set up for the last series that I finished. But there were several other series that I'm going to kind of come back in and do spreads for later. And I wanted to make sure I had at least a 2-page spread free for each one of those. So now let's talk about the fun spread I'm going to do, because this is like how I think I'm going to be doing most of my spreads. However, the other ones are just going to be a 2-page spread. For this one, I found so much cool fan art and things like that I was like, let's just go ahead and do a fun 4-page spread. And then we're going to do, I know that these are called Dutch doors. It doesn't feel like a Dutch door. It feels more like waterfall edges. But basically what I did here, most of the graphics that I got from here, for this spread, I picked up from Pinterest as well as from the author's website. The ones that I'm showing right here, these 3 were from the author's website. I did put those I did move them into those like film strip frames. Those were frames that were available in Canva. So I was able to move it into that. I will say I do have a Canva Pro version. So if you do the free version, you might not have that option. But for the Pro version, I did that. And I just thought it kind of looked cool. Thinking back, wish I would have changed the orange that's on the film strip, like with the date or the numbers. I don't know that I could have though. Sometimes you can change colors, sometimes you can't. So I do want to mention something really cool about these alpha stickers that I'm using to spell out Thesmar. Those are also frames from Canva. So Canva has these alphabet letters and they're frames. So you could put a photo into that letter. Obviously, you can't see it very well, but you could also do backgrounds and things like that to kind of make your own pattern. So I did each of the 4 book covers. So like the T, the H, the E, and the Z are all the book covers. So each of the 4 books. And then I use for the rest of it, I had like a general cool photo of like a forest scene that someone had created based on a part of the book. And I put that in there. And then the photos that I'm going to be using on the 3rd page as part of that, I guess we'll call it a waterfall edge. But on the back part of that, I use those photos for the 2 R's and the A. Again, you can't really see it very well, especially on camera, but up close you can. I just thought it was really, really cool. So I did that. Now I'm testing out washi. And at first I was going to use the brown washi because there is a character who's very Thor-like. And I was like, oh, this would be cool. But I didn't like the brown with the photos, and like the brown one had some like Vikings on it as well as like a hammer and stuff like that. But I ended up going with this kind of other gothic-y looking washi. Both of them were from Korea Crafts, by the way. But this one ended up working well, and I switched out the orange thin washi that I was kind of using to border it to the blue because it worked well with the lightning, which the lightning, by the way, I got that from Canva. It was just clip art. And they are 2 very different colors. One of them I printed and cut with the Cricut. So that is the one that is on the sides with the photos. And then the smaller lightning, I just printed directly from like my Canva image. And I think that was on best print quality when that printed versus the one with the Cricut that was just on normal. I just want to highlight that just in case you print your own stickers. I just never really knew about the difference until I started buying printable stickers and using printable stickers more. And I tried Best one day and I just saw how the colors are different. You can see it with those 2 lightnings. One of them is like kind of a bright blue, and then the other is just kind of like, oh, is it blue? Is it like bluish gray? What is it? I don't know. But yeah, all right. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the final 3 photos that I have. Like I said, these are ones that I got from Pinterest. The first 3 that were on the other side, I got from the author's website. These look like they may be AI generated. I'm not 100% sure, but they do have that realistic look to it. So I'm just going to probably assume that they are. But I just thought they were really good, and they kind of captured what I thought of as the characters. And there wasn't as much fan art out there. Most of it was like AI generated images. So I just went ahead and used that here. I would prefer to use fan art, but sometimes you got to use what's available when you don't have the drawing skills yourself. And then finally, I'm just going to be adding my headers here. This is where I'm going to just do a quick recap of my overall thoughts of the book. So y'all, that's going to sum it up. So yeah, I guess I will go ahead, let you watch the very final touches, and then I will pop back in on real time and wrap it up. All right, guys, it is several hours later. Like it's nighttime now. And I came home and decided that I wanted to go ahead and fill in some of the pages. So now you're actually going to be able to see my thought process and how it all came together. So I did stamp in the title here. I love how it looked. I was so nervous about stamping this, y'all, because like stickers, you can use undo, remove it, things like that. But once it's stamped, it's stamped. And then to cover this up, I would have had to just use another sheet of paper. So it turned out great. This is just some Temu stamps that I bought ages ago. So there we go. You saw me put everything else together. This is as it was. The only difference is I did write the series that I read back in college because I didn't really read in high school. So back in college, yes, I started reading Harry Potter in my college days and Twilight and all that fun stuff back in my college days. But I put that list there. It's probably not a complete list because I probably forgot some, but if I forgot them, then they're not noteworthy. That's how I'm looking at it. So yes. And then I did go through the Wrong Junk Journal sticker book and pulled out the rest of the frames that were in that book. And then I did use Undo and the A5 journal and pulled out the small frames that I had stuck down on those pages because it's an expensive sticker book and these are really high quality stickers and I don't want them to go to waste. So yeah, still not 100% set on how I'm going to do this, but I may be back to putting my favorite book series, duology, or trilogy. I don't know if I'm going to like distinguish a difference between them or what. I think I am going to do it every year though. And I don't know, I might change these up. So it might be different things. This might be like favorite ones of the year. This one might be overall annual stats. I don't know. I just wanted to go ahead and put them all here. Oh, I did have to tape a page together because I did mess up. I messed up when I was doing this, but we'll just pretend that I didn't. So I did highlight every other line, but I'm not writing in every other line. I mean, I'm not writing in every line. I'm still writing in only the highlighted lines because I have pretty big handwriting and it fills up the line from top to bottom. And if I wrote in every line, it just looks like a hot mess. Let me show you just so you can kind of understand what I'm saying. See? That's where I took the undo off. See how I just can't do it. So I did add in titles for the stamps. Most of these were part of an Amazon stamp set. The only thing is the word books that actually came from a separate stamp set that I got from Temu. I will try to link this Amazon stamp set if I can still find it down in the description box because it is fantastic. It is a great stamp set if you do like to track things in your reading journal. So then I did title, the number of books in the series, the total number of pages. So whether I did audio or whatever, I just went by Kindle because that's usually what I do. So I know it could differ from like a regular print copy, but I went with the Kindle pages. The dates read, so I put the start date and end date, except like the Shepherd King, I read that throughout October. I don't feel like I needed to write a start date and end date being it was in the same month. The format, I already had these stickers. I made them in Canva like at the beginning of the year and then I didn't use them. So I figured let's use it. It's like cute. It kind of gives me a break from all of the handwriting. And when I am using multiple formats like Kingdom of Lies, I had to do the audio version just to get through that last book. So I put both the Kindle and the audio. And then I had the physical there too. So that's how I'm doing that. Genre, I don't know why I want to put this in here, but I did, and I still struggle. You can see I have romantasy, fantasy, dark fantasy retelling. These are all fantasy books, but I just don't know how to categorize them, and I will probably want to change how I'm categorizing them, but it's fine. It just gives me a general idea what genre it is. And then I did want to point out the favorite book that I had in the series, and ironically, as I was writing the favorite book, some of these were not the highest rated of all the books I read in that series. And what I think is funny about it is I honestly think that when I finish the series, immediately after finishing it, I have a different perspective than I do months down the road. So like looking back, like on One Dark Window, on The Shepherd King, the first book, I figure was really the best. I think the second book kind of dragged on a little bit to me, but after I read that second book, there were certain things that were so impactful that I thought that was my favorite out of the two. So it changes. It's weird. I might have to start like in my reading journal, like my annual reading journal, like maybe putting 2 different ratings, like immediately after the book and then maybe during like a quarterly update or something. I think that could be really, really fun. So I went ahead and set up 2 pages of this. I really do wish I would have taken the every other line highlight over. I hesitated because I wasn't sure how the markers would like show through, but it would have been fine because I think it's a little bit easier to see when it goes all the way over. This one is for an extra. if I need it there. If for some reason I start finishing series left and right, and there are a lot of final books that are coming out this year or next year, and let's say I need more pages, I will go to the last book, the last review, and then I would just start another chart, and then that will be the table of contents for what comes after it. So just FYI. I didn't want to have but so many blank pages afterwards. And then like I already have Post-it, so I will do this. At this point, because it's been so far after I, read these books, like some of them were last year, I'm just going to kind of do them when I feel like it. I am going to do Fae Spy Academy. I'm going to do that one pretty soon because I did read that a few months ago. And then, of course, this is probably my favorite spread. It's very clean looking. So yeah, this is my kind of creative artwork kind of piece for this, all done in stickers and quotes and things like that. I felt like it was too much to put on just 2 pages, but I really didn't have enough to fill up for 4 pages. And I'm not someone that just wants to add text just to fill it up. So here it is with all of the text. I do need to add some more stats. I couldn't quite figure out everything I want to, so I just put a pause on that. Tropes for me, this is like my synopsis. I don't do synopsis, not in my reading journal, and I'm not going to do that here because I figured the internet, I can just read it. I could probably ask my Alexa and she would tell me the synopsis. So I don't need to do that. So tropes is going to kind of give me that overall view. I definitely want to start capturing that in my other journal as well. I wrote some of my favorites. Don't read any of this if you don't want any spoilers. And then my ratings. These are some really big star stickers. The star rating stamps. They're the same ones here. So I had to like alternate so it wouldn't be like all together. And then I kind of ran out of room for my series because my idea was to have the series overall rating here and then each individual book down there. I like the stars. I think it looks really cool, but it's really hard to distinguish, is that a 4.5 or a 4.25 or a 4.75. So that's the only bad thing about the stars, but I don't really think it matters at this point. Anything over a 4 means it was close to a 5, but not quite. And then my overall thoughts, again, it's been a while. It's been a few months since I've read the final book. So this is all I had to write. I think I probably would have had more to write if I had done this shortly after doing that. And I am probably going to be doing that as I finish other series. So there we go, guys. This is one of the first times that I've actually had that urge to kind of finish the setup after I filmed the video. So I'm really glad I was able to share that with you guys. I will probably be doing flip throughs of this at the end of the year as well. Plus, of course, flip throughs of my magical readathon journal and then my regular reading journal. I just will say as I wrap this up that I am really happy with my decision to move from this into this. Now, I think if I was using one of the better Archer and Olive journals and one that I paid for, then I might not have made the move. I feel a little bit less guilty because this one, like I said, was free, and I think there are some quality issues on this one in particular. So it kind of gave me a little bit of less guilt associated with it. But with that said, I'm going to repurpose this, so it's fine. No harm, no foul. Plus, I only had a few pages in here that I have done reviews and stuff for. So it really isn't that much that I have to replicate in here. And now I can do it my own way. And I really like setups. So it's very fun for me. Like I said, I like to do setups when I'm supposed to be mopping my floors. So yeah, all in all, I feel great about the decision of swapping journals. And I will just say, if it's something that you are considering, if you started in one journal, you don't like it, remember, you can glue the pages together. You can cut out the pages very carefully, use that journal for another purpose, and then move into another one. You do you. It's your journal. It's your journal stash. You do you, whatever makes you happy. In this case, this made me happy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed it, please press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing. That's all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.